We have a chance to speak with Fox News legal analyst Lis Wiehl. And yes, Lis, I'm just going to go to item number 2 on the docket. Ray Rice booted from the team. The new video that came out, he cold-cocked his fiance. And initially, all the criticism that's going over to the NFL side, the commissioner, Roger Goodell, because it was only a 2-game suspension. And, now that everybody got to see the video, everybody wants, justifiably, they want him off and away from the NFL and punished even more. But on the legal side, Lis, how is it possible that he's still a free man after he did something like this? I mean, who needs to bring... First of all, is he facing any charges for what he did? And if not, who needs to bring these charges for what he did? I just don't see how that's right.
He was indicted in March by a grand jury in New Jersey there for third-degree aggravated assault. Now, that's still a felony, but third degree obviously is not as, a big as beef as second or first degree.
What does that mean, Lisa?
It means that he's looking at a maximum of 5 years in prison, but here's where it gets crazy to me. The prosecutor and the judge, I guess, agreed with the defense lawyer to say, no, he's a first offender, so no jail time, no prison time, but requirement for him to undergo extensive counseling and obligating him to stay out of trouble. Okay, so it's what they call a pre-diversionary program. If you've got no criminal history, which he doesn't, I mean, to be fair, he does not have a criminal history before this, you can get into one of these diversionary programs that they divert you away from prison if you're a good boy. If you're a bad boy and you do something like this again and you get caught, then you're looking at up to 5 years. But it's sort of like another chance, if you will. So that's what's going on with him in the criminal sphere. But what's incredible to me is now the NFL is saying, well, we didn't have that video. Are you kidding? The prosecutor must have had the video. The grand jury must have seen this video. He was, was indicted on assault charges.
And even if they didn't see the video, they knew what he did.
Exactly. They knew what he did. They knew that he'd gone through this program and this diversionary program. So it boggles my mind when you talk the NFL, which is not, Little League baseball. This is the NFL. And they're saying, we didn't know, we couldn't have known. They have retired FBI agents. They have investigators. They have people that could just knock on the casino's front door and say, hey, by the way, were there videotapes that were taken that night?
Did his fiancée, now wife, Janae, play any part in this in not wanting to press charges here, or what was her situation?
Apparently, that's right. Apparently, she was not going to testify against him at trial if it had gone to trial. But that isn't a stopping point for a prosecutor. You can still go ahead. If it were, a lot of cases would not be prosecuted because sadly, very sad but true, many women that are in this position of being beaten, and I do not think it's the first time she's been beaten. Just look at the video. It just looks like, oh, it's Wednesday, I'll hit her. It wasn't like a shocking kind of thing for them. They are in this position of the battered wife syndrome where they're either afraid to go. It's money. There's a lot of money. They don't know. They don't have the means. Maybe they've got kids. They're frightened for their children. Maybe they don't have good support or family or any place they can go, and they're embarrassed. They feel like maybe it was my fault. I did something, which is crazy. It makes no sense. I'm just telling you the mentality sometimes in these cases. So, no, she wasn't going to testify. And even as of yesterday, she was saying, I'm standing by my man. And you, the media, are making this all up, not making it up, but you're making it a bigger deal than it is.
Yeah, she says she deeply regrets her role, but there's no excuse for what he did.
There's no excuse. I mean, I learned just this morning, apparently, that there's another part of the video which shows that maybe she had, struck him first. But, okay.
So what?
Yeah, exactly. So what? There's no excuse for this huge guy.
I deeply regret walking into that punch. I should have seen it coming.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that is ridiculous. On the NFL side, Lis, the Ravens and the NFL, I know, professional sports contract verbiage is not exactly your bailiwick, but normally stuff like this is written in there, right? When these guys do something that is disparaging and hurts the NFL or hurts the company, then they need to sever ties.
Sure, there's a morals clause, a personal conduct policy, which is in the NFL. And also now in the NFL is a domestic violence policy. But, it's sort of namby-pamby. I mean, it's certainly two games. That's all he was relieved of the first time when they first heard about this.
Yes,
is
they should
incredible.
go over to the animal abuse version of the
know.
verbiage and maybe copy paste that over to the domestic violence version of the contract. Maybe get something more appropriate.
Exactly. I mean, I think it's. Here's I don't want to give Rice anything to work with, but the NFL's in a sticky wicket of a position though, because if they they said, well, first two games, then they saw the video, then it's 2 years. Well, if you and I and everybody pretty much out there agrees they have had that videotape before, how can they go back and re-punish him for something they've already punished him? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That may be an issue coming forward.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, does he have something to fight there?
That would be exactly the thing. That wait a second, you already punished me. It's sort of a double jeopardy argument.
Uh-huh.
You already punished me. You can't go back.
Well, who's
going to
stand up for him? But the players' union say, hey,
no,
you already,
gosh, no.
Call my steward.
No.
Fight for me. Lis, thank you much. Lis Wiehl from Fox News joining us on 710 KURV.